Hey everyone, my name is Cryptic D, Athena, and this is Devil Fruit Fridays. This is going to be a long-running series of me designing completely original devil fruits and how they would work on a user. I will be coming up with every fruit for now, but eventually, you all will be able to suggest some fruit ideas. Last week, I talked about the mythical snake fruit, model Genesis. So far, it's the most powerful devil fruit I have designed, but this week's fruit may give it a run for its money. Without further ado, here is week 4's devil fruit. Ryu no Mi, model Godzilla, or the Dragon fruit, model Godzilla. The user gets the powers of Godzilla. Strengths. The Dragon fruit, model Godzilla, will give the user great strength, amazing stamina, and great durability. The inherent strength and durability alone are some of the best amongst devil fruits. A new user could easily take down most opponents just from eating the fruit for the first time. Not to mention to be able to take cannon fire head on, although this is more dependent on the physical strength of the user to begin with. Throughout the growth of the Godzilla user, they would likely realize that most conventional types of weaponry would prove ineffective against them. Many elemental attacks would also be negated, but this fruit does have two specific elemental weaknesses that I'll get to shortly. The user has a powerful healing factor that is used by pulling the oxygen around them or from a fallen enemy, sort of acting like photosynthesis. This ability will be further expanded upon in the weaknesses and power section of the video. In hybrid form, the user gets access to their tail, which is just as strong as their arms, which can lift large ships by this point. In full-on Godzilla form, the user's strength is comparable to that of the continental puller oars. Yes, in the way you might be thinking. The Godzilla user would indeed be able to pull islands with ease. Far more ease than you may initially believe. An interesting strength and weakness for the user is being incredibly heavy, even in their base form. If you have ever watched Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, picture Envy's density, but on a crazier scale. The last strength of the Godzilla fruit is the ability to travel underwater, but the user must be in hybrid or animal form. If they are in base form, they will suffer the weaknesses of having a devil fruit. And this leads us into this fruit's weaknesses. While the Godzilla fruit can indeed travel underwater, and can even use some of their powers underwater, if they do so, they will lose a severe amount of stamina. In regards to their fruit's elemental weaknesses, it has two. Well, one is an elemental weakness, while the other is a very specific counter. The first one is being weak to electrical attacks. Now don't get it twisted. Not every electrical attack would be devastating to this fruit. Someone like a Nell would have the strongest chances against this fruit, while any of the minks, frankly, would have a harder time. Of course, this weakness greatly depends on the skill of both this Godzilla user and the electrical user. The other weakness, however, depends on a specific scenario or a power of another devil fruit. The second weakness of the Godzilla fruit is the lack of oxygen. If the user has no access to oxygen, they cannot keep up the full strength of their fruit. This is because everything about the fruit is enhanced by oxygen. So, if say, a user of the gas fruit sucked out all the oxygen around Godzilla, they would be severely weakened or potentially perish. But of course, this would take incredible planning, strength, or skill against the beast of the fruit. Also, if there is no oxygen in the water, the user cannot travel through there. Other weaknesses are the standard devil fruit weaknesses and probably Ryo. Powers. For this section of the video, the power section will have 3 specific abilities and different techniques that the fruit can use. But very quickly, I want to mention that the hybrid form and animal form of this fruit gives the user sharp claws, fins, and teeth. Powerful grip strength in both mouth and hands, and a tail that is lined with the aforementioned sharp fins. I'm thinking the user could swing their tail around like a giant cleaver with those fins of theirs. Anyways, here are the techniques. Energy Pulse. Absorbing the oxygen around them, the Godzilla user will disperse large bursts of nuclear energy outwards from their body. These waves act similarly to how earthquakes are visualized. It starts from the center, in this case Godzilla, and then moves outwards in short yet powerful bursts. The strength of these bursts is almost as if you're getting hit with all the force of a tidal wave, but without the water. If the Godzilla user absorbs oxygen from a fallen enemy, it will be able to use a more powerful nuclear pulse. This is a far more devastating attack that fires off quickly and will destroy most of the surroundings in seconds. Nuclear release. Next up, whenever the Godzilla user uses their more powerful energy attacks, they will briefly disperse into nuclear energy. Coming into contact with this energy is fatal for most living things. Atomic breath. The final technique is the famous atomic breath attack that Godzilla has from his films. This really needs no explanation, but if you don't already know, Godzilla can fire a devastating beam of radiation that obliterates everything it comes into contact with. In One Piece, this of course would be the same, only increasing in strength if the user absorbs a fallen warrior's oxygen. Of course, against people like Kaido, this attack would be countered by his own breath attacks. When the Godzilla user attacks with their energy powers underwater, they literally absorb the oxygen from the H2O and fire it off at enemies. Because of this, the area from which they fire will be left with the gas left over from being removed from the H2O, potentially leaving the ocean with a new landform. But of course, the user will be severely drained. Awakening. The awakening of this devil fruit was actually a difficult decision to choose. Godzilla's powers have many choices, fitting for an awakening level power-up, such as his final thermonuclear attack in the movie Godzilla, King of the Monsters. However, I decided to go with a power that subverts the initial idea and fits the One Piece world very well. This awakening is fittingly called the King of the Monsters, and it allows the user to command Sea Kings, any land kings that may be on the level of Zunisha, and Sky Kings that we have yet to see. Of course, this technique against intelligent beasts, such as Zunisha, would most likely require stronger willpower, but in general, the King of Monsters Awakening will at least allow the control of low-level Sea, Land, and Sky Kings, if the latter two exist. If the user cannot command higher-level creatures, they will have to beat them into submission, or overpower them with their willpower. This power only affects animals, so no zone user will be persuaded. Conclusion. So I think it's safe to say that I was indeed correct that this fruit would be my favorite fruit in the lineup of fruits I have created so far. How many times can I say fruit? Next week will be the last fruit for the time being, as I want to take a break from them. I'm definitely not running out of ideas, but I'm trying to lighten the load a little. Anyways, what do you all think of the Dragon Fruit model Godzilla? Do you think it's a good or bad fruit to have, and would you want to use it? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. Please like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want, and follow me on Twitter at cryptic_HEL, Cryptic Hell, to see all my videos artwork. Thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.